This is a starter off of a 2000 F-150 4.6 liter motor. This is referred to as the solenoid assembly. This is battery lead and ignition lead coming from the ignition circuit itself. When you turn the key, that's what is getting energized and creating the switch to start this starter. These have usually two nuts that are threaded onto the stud of this lead, and they usually come with lock washers brand new. If you find that you have a starter that has no lock washer, and chances are the connection has worked itself loose, this will be noticed by a clicking sound when you try to start the vehicle. Can be commonly mistaken as having a bad starter, but in reality it's simply a bad connection, because any electrical circuit will make audible sounds of a clicking noise from a bad or loose connection. And this is a lifetime warranty starter. It's rebuilt. It's very popular to buy rebuilt parts, and the best way is to go lifetime warranty. Anytime you're buying a used vehicle, chances are the last person that just has it set in their mind they want to get rid of the vehicle. And it's important, in my opinion, to ask what recent work was done to it or what recent problems have been encountered with the vehicle. That way you know what to look out for, because whatever problems they had before they sold it, chances are it'll come back very soon if they put on cheap parts. That's about as real as it gets. And this is, of course, came from AutoZone. And so anytime you think you have a bad starter, always check your connections when you hear a clicking noise to and from the battery. Okay, so you're sure you have a bad starter. One rule about anything electrical, such as a starter motor, is that it requires power to operate. Like I said in my last clip or segment talking about bad connections causing a clicking noise, starter usually requires around 150 amps, 170 amps on an average vehicle to operate. Well, suppose this gets hung up inside and goes bad. This gear won't release into the flywheel. Well, this is just trying to keeps wanting power, keeps drawing power and amps to help see if it'll release this, but it's not doing it. It's hung up, and that means that this is holding all the energy inside here, and it's getting very hot. Probably wouldn't even be able to touch it if you try to get close to it. So therefore, if you suspect you have a bad starter, simply put in your hand near it, and if it's hot to the touch, so hot that it almost burns you, then it's more than likely, or it's a good chance that you have a bad starter. And another thing is that since this is rebuilt, you could possibly tell, maybe if I get in close here, that this starter has probably been hit. It's the last problem with it is getting hung up, and probably been hit by some sort of a hammer. They probably try to start their car with a hammer each time or something, and just to get it started until they finally just gave up or something and decided they needed a new starter. But anyway, that's the basics of what happens when they get hung up. Also, if you know of any oil leaks, and you know you're having that, or you know you're having to add oil to your vehicle, you definitely want to get that checked out as soon as possible for a couple of reasons. Number one is it's affecting the oil pressure, and the oil is not being pumped throughout the engine and to its best ability. And another reason is that if there's any oil that's being left on the starter, that's being dumped out on the starter from something like oil sending unit or oil pressure switch, typically mounted near the oil filter, that will cause the starter to fail prematurely, which is not good. You'll be spending money on a starter, and there'll still be an oil leak there just letting oil get on the starter. And so to save yourself time and money and headache to get your oil leak fixed or repaired, especially if it's getting all over the starter, that's really not a good thing for the starter.